Okay, so I'm going to use toys. Yes, these are all my toys. I don't have children. I'm going to use toys as a pop culture art to go through these 6 styles of love with you. So this is my 6 styles of love through art. So Lee suggests there are 6 basic styles of love. Love of beauty and physical, obsessive love, playful love, compassionate love, altruistic love, and practical love. First, let's go over here to Barney Stinson. Now, being that one of my classes is an AP class, you may not know who this is. But Barney is from How I Met Your Mother. Barney was all about how much beauty and physical love he could get. There were a lot of social, psychological things around that, but that's not why we're here. Barney's way of displaying love was very playful. He would pretend he wasn't himself. A lot of times he would pretend he was his friend Ted Mosby, who really was like a romance sap. But anyway, Barney is really, really good example of the style of love that is love of beauty and the physical. Barney had very specific standards, he thought, because of the way that society structured him, right? And he was a high class, high powered, was a sticky job he had, but status required certain things, and his status required love of beauty and the physical. And that played into his feelings of needing to be valued in certain ways. So Barney I don't really have a counter to him. So Barney is really who I would show to provide an example of that first love of beauty and the physical, because those were his important factors. Okay, next I'm going to show you some of my favorite, yes, I built this, style of obsessive love. Now, if any of you know the DC franchise, you absolutely know what I'm talking about here, not her. Except if you read The Killing Joke, you know there was a little bit of weird stuff that went on with Batgirl. Anyway. So, strong sexual attraction, emotional intensity, intensity to the point where Harlequin, she threw herself in a vat of acid at the Acme chemical plant just so that she could be with Mr. J. She was once his psychologist. He clearly messed with her. FYI, sometimes in psychology, you run into people who will, in fact, have deep, deep psychological skills and problems. So, careful. You could end up like Harley. Anyway, Harley would be extremely jealous. She would, and rightfully so, right? She not only destroyed her career and her life, but her physical self. And then when they spend time apart, like when she ends up in jail, he loses his mind. And that a lot of times is when, Gotham or The Killing Joke, and what happened to, Harley's skate just fell off. And what happened to Batgirl and Killing Joke, that happens. Because there's despair when they are not together. So that is obsessive love. It also, unfortunately, in today's world, we see a lot of it in pop culture, and somehow that is the idea of what love should look like. No. Anytime you think of obsessive love, think these two, and maybe that will help. Or when you want to scroll through that ex's Instagram and their ex's Instagram and three friends of theirs at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you accidentally hit like, yeah, don't do this kind of love. It's not good in the end. All right. Then we're going to go, we're going to go over here to the Golden Girls. And seriously, some of you really may not know who this is. But we're going to talk about playful love. And it's casual, it's carefree, and it is really just about enjoyment. There's no real jealousy. It's recreation, and it's to feel good, and there's no weird underlying connections. People are aware of these things from the gate. And really one of the best examples of that I have seen, but also clearly I am aging myself right now, is Blanche on the Golden Girls. Blanche was highly into playful love. That was her entire persona. A couple of times she fell in love and got hurt, and so she immediately would resort back to playful love. So, not possessive, not jealous. It's a recreational activity. And we get to see more and more of that in today's world, actually, as we start to realize that a lot of these really rigid boundaries around our bodies and sexuality are actually ideological, and they don't align with physical inclinations of creatures. This one gets a little weirder because of The Simpsons, right? I'm going to say this is compassionate love because it's peaceful it's a peaceful kind of love, comfortable, compassionate, and respectful. Has shared activities, right? They have children, they go to school, they have a hard time with bills because he might not be the best role model in participating in compassionate love relationship. However, Marge very much is. Dang it. Marge very much is the example of what compassionate love looks like and how it acts. Unfortunately, like many, Marge, she's not treated well, I guess. She's not treated in the compassionate way that she deserves, nor in a reciprocal way. And that's really Homer. There are people like Ned Flanders who would really, really, really love to reciprocate that compassionate love with her. But she has none of those feels for him. So he goes back over here to his barbecue that Homer stole, and he is making Homer's family food. So let's see. Compassionate love is calm, right? Other than when Homer does some really dumb stuff, or when Bart over here gets in trouble, it's really pretty calm in their life. They have a regular routine for the most part. They aren't massively chaotic. They have, they clearly love each other. There's not white hot romance, but they are in it, and they are in it for the long haul, and that is clear. And then let's see. An altruistic love. So, an altruistic love doesn't really exist, right? Because there is nothing of no self-interest. So, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we are going to look at what might be the most closest to altruistic love that might be possible out of my toys, right? Okay, here I have 3CPO and R2D2. 3CPO is incredibly altruistic and loyal to Luke Skywalker, right? He is Luke Skywalker's droid and helper, and R2D2 also is. They both, they don't have human feelings, of course. And I think that is why we can explain them as being altruistic love, because they really will go through anything just to make sure that their friends are okay. FYI, this is Rey, but we're pretending she's Leia. Because I don't know why I don't have a Leia. Anyway, so I'd say that these two, if pushed, we could say those are altruistic love because they really don't have the capacity for self-interest other than like a checkup, and maybe 3CPO needs some oil or some grease, right? And then, let's see, practical love. I honestly think for practical love, we can come back over here again. Because not only are they compassionate and they have a team, but it's practical, right? They have a house, they have kids, they work collaboratively to make things work. If they took that apart, they may not survive. So it's practical. It is very practical for the Simpsons to stay together, because a lot of times that is the world, right? It's easier and less lonely to go at it together than to go at it alone. But you want to make sure that if it's a practical love and you're going at it together, that you understand the potential positives and negatives, and that you look out for each other, and you're practical about if you might separate, remain friends, and just to continually evaluate the relationship and make sure that it is practical. And a lot of times, people without kids, they very much are a part of relationships that are practical love. So hopefully I made some sort of sense of what I mean by 6 types of love through art. You see, I didn't draw anything. I didn't do anything. I just brought out toys that I already have. So hopefully this helps, and I really look forward to watching all of yours.